Gate 17, another Tuesday. Same gray carpet, different town. The flight attendant knows my coffee order. I know every gate from here to downtown. Got my window seat, my leather briefcase. Got my quarterly report to read. 30,000 feet above the farmland. That's the closest I ever get to free. And somewhere down there, between the grid lines and the green, there's a life I almost started. There's a boy who had a dream. Gate 17 to somewhere, gate 17 again. Someday, when I'm old enough to mean it, maybe I'll go home and stay and tend something that grows slowly, something I can see from where I stand. Gate 17 is not the dream I had, but it's the life I am. The man across the aisle is watching football on a screen the size of my old phone. We don't talk, we're both too good at silence. We're both professionals at being alone. I saw a horse farm from the window once, just south of Nashville in the afternoon. I pressed my face against the plastic portal, like a boy who thought he'd be there soon. Soft and manicured. He smelled like honest work. I smelled like recycled air. He knew every inch of his 40 acres. I know the Admiral's Club in 20 cities. I don't know which of us got further. I don't know which of us got there. I drive a German car and wear Italian shoes. I got a penthouse view and nothing left to lose. I close the deals that other people don't know how. I am exactly what I said I'd never be somehow. My college roommate's got a spread in Tennessee, 200 head of cattle and a family. He calls me every Christmas, says, man, you look tired. I say I am, but brother, I am all so wired. The suit fits fine The suit fits fine. I had it tailored in the summer of '89. The suit fits fine. Don't read between. Just because it fits don't mean it's what I mean. The suit fits fine. My assistant books my calendar in 15-minute blocks. My life runs like a railroad, always around the clock. There's a photograph of Yellowstone above my office desk. The one real week I took in 12 years. I confess the suit fits fine. Understood. The money's real, the work is real, the life is good. But sometimes in the elevator going up, I catch myself and wonder what enough actually looks like from the outside looking in. It's 11 on a Wednesday in the hotel room. I found the channel with the Little House reruns. Charles Ingalls fixing fences in the morning light, and I'm watching with the curtains drawn on another town's night. There's something in the way he holds his daughter, something in the way he knows the land, something in the way the problems get resolved there, something I don't entirely understand. Little House reruns, Little House reruns. I know it isn't real, but something in it runs deeper than the fiction, deeper than the show. Little House reruns, Little House reruns, showing me the man I almost know. My ex-wife used to say I romanticized a version of a life that never was. She wasn't wrong, she rarely was about me. She just got tired of loving someone because of what he might become instead of what he was. She deserved better than the future tense. I gave her good addresses and good credit, but not the man who makes a place make sense. But here's the thing about the Little House. Here's what the reruns actually say. The man Maybe that's enough to earn a little house someday. 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 My grandmother used to say, the Lord don't move on your schedule. She used to say the seed don't know the harvest. She used to say, son, the long game is the only game that ever paid out honest. I've been playing the long game since before I knew the name. I've been planting in the dark, I've been trusting in the flame. Gospel of the long game, gospel of the wait, gospel of the morning that arrives however late. Gospel of the long game, sing it in the field, everything you planted, everything will yield. Gospel of the long game, trust the deep and slow. Gospel of the long game, watch the harvest grow. I've deferred a lot of living for the living that I do. I've postponed some real belonging for the things I thought were true. But the gospel of the long game says the deferred is not the dead. Says the dream you keep inside you is a seed and not a shred. Conference ended early, I had one free night. Rented a truck on impulse, drove until the light faded out completely and the sky took over everything. Montana at 3 in the morning is a different kind of thing. Pulled over on a 2-lane with the engine off. The silence came in like a flood and I almost lost every reason I've been carrying for 20 years. Montana at 3 in the morning has no use for fear. Montana 3 a.m. Montana 3 a.m. I stood under a billion stars and felt like me again. Montana 3 a.m. Montana constellation that my father taught. I could feel every acre that I never bought. I could hear the horses that I never got to keep. And none of it was sad, it was just deep. Because a man who stood there in the Montana night had not been entirely extinguished by the light. He chosen or been chosen for, both things are true. Montana 3 a.m. and I was through the surface into something real. It changed from black to blue to gold. I thought about my father and his 40 acres, and I thought both of those men are in me, and maybe that's all right. I had a name picked out in 1987, a quarter horse, a bay, I'd call him Tennessee. I had the paddock planned, I had the fence post measured on a napkin in a bar in Knoxville over beer. The deal I closed that week put me in a different bracket. The napkin became a business plan, became a life. Tennessee, the horse, became a poster in my storage, somewhere underneath the papers from my marriage and my wife. The horse I never bought has been running in my mind for 37 years, through every deal and every line. The horse I never bought is faster than my car. The horse I never bought has taken me this far in my imagination, which is not nothing, which is something, which is real. The horse I never bought is how I know, I still know how to feel. I looked him up online last year, the bloodline anyway. A quarter horse, a bay, still training down in Monterey. I saved the number in my phone under Tennessee, the horse. And sometimes when the meetings run till midnight, I look at it of course. But here's the thing I'm learning, here's the thing about the dream. It doesn't have an expiration, it's not as far as it seems. I'm 53, not 83, I've still got runway left. The horse I never bought has not run out of breath. She didn't leave angry, that's the part that stays with me. She lived like someone finally making peace. She packed with careful hands and left the photographs. She said, keep the ones of us, I'm keeping mine of me. She said, I married someone who was always somewhere else, not in distance, just in longitude of soul. She said, I wanted a man who knew what window he was looking through. And you, she said, you never quite chose home. She knew before I did, she knew what I was gonna do. She knew before I did that I would always choose the airport over the porch, the deal over the field. She knew before I did what I still haven't healed. She's got somebody now who's present like a person, who comes home at 6 and means it when it does. I drove past the street once, not on purpose, saw lights on in the kitchen, smelled something good. I wasn't sad exactly, I was something more like glad. She deserved the window she was looking through, the clearest one she ever had. Maybe losing what I couldn't hold was the honest thing to do then, because the man who stood in Montana at 3 in the morning was not the man she married. He's been growing in the dark. with a working barn, with fence posts I put in myself. A one-day farm with a wood-burning stove, and books on a real shelf. A one-day farm with a dog that knows the property, the way I know the quarterly review. A one-day farm, Lord, a one-day farm is all I'm asking you. One-day farm, one-day farm. When the calendar runs out of demands, one-day farm, one-day farm. When I've got calluses back on my hands, one-day farm, where the morning has a different kind of light. One-day farm, one-day farm. That's what I'm working for tonight. A short list and a price. One-day farm in the valley where the winters aren't too nice, but I don't mind the cold if the cold is earned by working something I can touch. One-day farm, it's not a fantasy, it's a plan, just not quite yet. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Just to smell the livestock and the hay. I've talked to farmers at truck stops at midnight about the weight of land, about the dignity of tired, the honest kind of tired, the kind that's leave. See it all, the farms, the towns, the rivers and the sprawl. They call it flyover like it's just a space between the coast where all the real America is seen. But I grew up down there in one of those small towns where the main street's half empty and the factory shut down, and the people on a backdrop for someone else's story. They're the whole damn story, they're the whole damn glory. Flyover country, I was born there. Flyover country, I still dream there. Flyover country isn't in between. Flyover country is what I mean. you for the possible and grew. And now I look down from the window with a different view. I see both versions from up here and from the ground. The man I was becoming and the boy that I found. Down there is as smart as anywhere, is as hungry as anywhere, is as ready as anywhere. They just need someone to say, you are not the in-between, you are the destination. Flyover country. Someday when I'm old enough to stop explaining, someday when the calendar belongs to me, I'll wake up to a rooster, not an alarm clock. I'll know what day it is by what needs to be done. Someday, when I'm old enough to mean it, I'll ride out in the morning before the dew is gone. I'll know the name of every bird that's singing, and I'll take my time, and I'll belong. Someday when I'm old, someday when I'm old, I'll trade the window seat for open sky. Someday when I'm old, someday when I'm old, I'll finally understand the reason why I needed all of this to know what I want. Someday when I'm old, I'm not old yet, that's the thing I'm learning. I've got time to build toward what I want. The farm is not a fantasy for dying, it's a plan for living, that's the point. The suit was real and the work was real and the flights were real, and the life I build is real and it is mine. But the farm is also real and it is coming, and I will be there. Is it too late? It's never too late. Is the dream still good? The dream is good. Can a man in a suit come home? Come on home. Can a businessman ride horses? Ride on, ride on, ride County. I already know the price. I'm already almost there.